busy talking.
Yeah.
And there we go, buddy. What's up? It's been a while. We're live,
up?
ready to go.
Let's go.
How you feeling?
Oh, not bad. Just trying to get out of vacation mode.
I know
shit.
how you, you were just out there killing it on vacation last week. I mean, you had the NFL draft going on. You're on vacation. You're loving life. Your Bears look like they had a pulse a little bit. I mean, that's something that you have to enjoy. So that's always fun. What's not fun is our man KG got knocked down a little bit. Wasn't what he's out battling COVID right now.
Yeah, man. Rest up, KG.
Yeah, so that's it. We have to just see what's going on here. So now we got our man Paul. He's MIA. We don't know where he's about. I'm sure he's probably neck deep in some margaritas and some.
Yeah.
Listen, Cinco de Mayo. How can you not like Cinco de Mayo? We got margaritas and you got senoritas. So I mean,
yeah.
What better is that? I mean, that's kind of what life is about right there. So, how's your Cinco de Mayo been going? Good.
I got a cerveza, so we're good to go. Ready to go after work cerveza. Always good. Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, you have to love that. Come back. You got plus I'm sure you got some other Mexican delicacies that that would help you celebrate this special holiday. So that's always
Correct.
good. So
Correct.
so you gotta love it. Gotta love it. Listen, man. NBA season is full swing. I talked 4 days of straight NFL last week.
Yeah, you did.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I killed the draft. I mean, I was on from 7 to 12 on Thursday night, 7 to 12 on Friday night, first round, second round. But the way I look at it, if somebody's got to do it, if not, we just see dead house plants staring at TV screens like deers in headlights. We're just clowns talking like they're, like they've actually watched some of these kids play, which is pretty interesting. I got my man Drew. Appreciate you watching, buddy. I appreciate. See, Drew's the one of the guys who held it down with me. During the NFL draft night 1, he bailed on me night 2. And KG's on remote location, so it's good to see our guys with us here tonight. Always appreciate the love, And speaking of the love, let's just get right to it because you know why? Because this guy is one of the most mercurial athletes there's been. People love him, people hate him. I don't know if it's just or not like that, but in this NBA season. LeBron's comment about not ever being 100% again, and now he disagrees with the playoff format. I mean, are we seeing old man crabby LeBron? Like, is this get off my lawn LeBron? I mean, like, where are we at with this? I mean, he's definitely not acting.
It definitely sounds like it. I mean, he's coming out saying people should be fired for making these rules, but previously he was all right with it, and now he's in the situation where he's going to have to play in it, possibly.
Possibly.
And I don't think he wants a piece of the one and done LeBron.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, how much would this destroy his legacy if he played in the playoff game and he'd be like the 6th seed probably. I mean, the 7th seed. They're the 6th seed now. They're 1 game above Portland.
Yeah.
3.5 games above Golden State. So with 7 left, it's not very realistic. But they're 3-7 in the last 10. So I mean, are we going to see a LeBron Steph?
Well, and
playing game? I mean, like is that going to be a possibility? And I mean, this if LeBron and Steph faced off to make it into the playoffs, all right, to get into that playoff game. I mean, how damaging would this be to LeBron's career if he lost? And how uplifting would it be to Steph if he took that ragtag, no Klay Thompson having Warriors team, he's averaging almost 40 points a game and brings them into the playoffs and beats LeBron. I mean,
yeah.
I wish Paul was here because I'd like to hear his thoughts about it because, one of the biggest, I don't get into the LeBron Jordan debate because, not enough people who are in that debate saw Jordan how he is because a lot of them were like, oh, well, Jordan lost in the first round. Well, yeah, he lost to one of the greatest teams ever in the
Yeah.
Celtics, an extremely good Bucks team. But if LeBron loses a playoff game, I'm sorry, a play-in game, I mean,
yeah.
you can't talk about Jordan's first round anymore. That's just
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah, and it to me, it's visible that he's shook. That he wants so, and he's not playing. He's out 2 games, correct? So I mean, he's
He's
putting it on
out
the
2 more
line.
games.
Yeah, he's putting it on the line. I mean, they could slide. Who knows? But I mean,
Well,
he's not playing.
that's the thing. They have to battle Portland. Portland is 1 game behind them. You know,
Yeah,
Dame isn't going anywhere. It's Dame time, you know. He's going to do this. He's going to be trying to out there ball. And if he could go and put them in the 7th seed, I mean, because, you know, I don't think no matter how far the Lakers fall, even without LeBron, I don't think it's realistic that they fall to the 8th seed, you know.
and Schroeder's out now, right? I saw that he's injured. So I mean, that's a nice little link missing. So I mean, the
Yeah.
Lakers are banged up, and AD. I mean, AD's rusty. I mean, you've been watching him play, and he's trying to get his legs, but he's not quite ready. He's still a little rusty. So I mean, these games are important at the end for the Lakers, and LeBron knows it. Definitely.
Absolutely. And one of the things too, we're going to take a look at this playing format. All right. So yeah, so this is the playing format, and listen, it only starts in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. This is it. Yeah, it's the final push right here.
So I mean, so as it broke down, it's the 9th place team plays the 10th place team, and the 7th place team plays the 8th place team, and the 2 winners play each other, and then you have to, you know, the one goes to the 7th seed, one goes to the 8th seed, you know, and it's it's definitely an interesting format, and you know, if LeBron goes from 6th seed to the 7th seed, and then next thing you know, they drop down to the 8th seed because they, you know. It would be interesting. The thing is, I don't think it's realistic that they actually jump out of the playoffs, though. I think they're pretty much locked in because you got like I said, Portland 1 game behind, Golden State 3.5 games behind, 3.5 games behind, and 4.5 games behind. That's talking about the Lakers. So for the Lakers to lose 4 games in the last 7, I mean, not lose 4 games, but lose 4 games in the standings in the last 7, I mean, that would be difficult to do, and that would, you know, you'd have to implode about certain things. So, I mean, it'll be interesting with the LeBron and Lakers if they can hang on. That's for sure.
But do you even have that feel that the Lakers are the favorite anymore in the Western Conference? I mean,
well,
I don't even feel that they're. You know, I'm just not feeling them as the favorites.
Well, before when LeBron came back and he was playing, and they have Anthony Davis back and Andre Drummond, and before Dennis Schroeder got hurt, which was just a week ago when they all came back and they were pretty healthy, I expected them to use this last couple weeks to gel as a team, get the 5 seed, maybe, you know, stay solid 6, 5 seed, you know, that kind of. And then make a nice playoff run and be the team to beat in the playoffs. But now with LeBron hurt, Schroeder hurt, I mean, there's very, very little time to gel. And I think that you're, you know, and I think there's big question marks whether that Lakers can now come out of the East, because it might not even be something that's feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really looking at a team that's struggling. You're looking at LeBron making a lot of excuses for his team, you know, complaining about the format now. And Luka was complaining about it too early. And you don't really hear him complaining about it too much now that the team's in the 5th seed. You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, they have the exact same record as the Lakers, but you can't, you know, I think that the trajectory of the teams are going way different directions. So
yeah, Luka's got to keep his cool, man. He's 1 tech away from getting a suspension.
Yeah, and that you don't want to suspend them and give like
you can't. Yeah, so he's gonna have to watch himself. I thought that was interesting. I can't. I saw that. I'm like, damn, he's getting teed up that much. I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's fiery, man. He talks back. He brings some heat to him. And the thing that's saving the Lakers, though, because like you say, the Lakers in their last 10 are 3-7, but Portland hasn't really been able to gain too much ground during that because they're 4-6. The Golden State Warriors are 5-5. Memphis 4-6, 5-5. So the teams that are right underneath the Lakers, they're not really playing that great as it is. They're playing like 500 basketball. But the
Yeah.
Mavericks are 7-3 above them. Denver's 8-2 above them. So there's really no way for them guys to kind of if a team really heats up, they could really pass the Lakers and definitely be a thing. So now here it is, right? We got we got my man Richie knows what's up, buddy. Appreciate it.
Richie?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Richie. The Lakers are garbage. Portland and Golden State are too. I mean, but they didn't have the same expectations coming into the season, especially Golden State.
Yeah.
So and they're not really making a move to surpass them. But I think if the LeBron, we by this weekend we could be talking about the Portland leapfrogging the Lakers. So
I'd love to see it just for entertainment purposes. You'd love to see it. I want to see it. To be honest.
Now here's the thing. Speaking of the Lakers, right? I want you to tell me who's the best Mexican NBA player ever. It's Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, man.
Let's put a little sazon and adobo on it, and
I can't. I can't think. You got to give me You got to give me the show. I got to think of this. I'm not gonna look it up. I can't think of one right now. Right off the head, I cannot think. There's probably something obvious that you're gonna throw at me, and I'm gonna be like, yes, okay. But right now, it's not coming at me.
I'm not gonna say it's obvious.
Okay.
But it is topical. It is topical. I'm gonna. How many NBA players from Mexico do you think there's ever been?
I'm gonna say less than a handful.
So less than 5.
Less than 5.
5 exactly.
Really?
Horatio Llamas played in the 80s. Jorge Gutierrez, Gustavo Ayon, I'm sorry, currently playing in the NBA for the Lakers, Juan Toscano Anderson, and he's been starting games.
Oh, okay.
He's been starting for the Lakers, so he's been playing ball. But I think the best one ever, and I don't know if you remember his name, but he played on Dallas and some teams. Eduardo Naraja.
That's the only one that sounds familiar. I know. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to give him as the best ever. But,
that's good trivia right there. That's really good trivia.
I mean, and this is what we bring to you on Cinco de Mayo. We bring you NBA bet winners, absolute locks. We've been killing it. We kill it every Wednesday night. And then we bring you, trivia like this. So, appreciate everybody's love. But yeah, Juan Toscano Anderson, ironically, he's starting for the Lakers. He's playing minutes for the Lakers. So he's definitely, he's definitely saying a little bit more closer to home. This battle right here, Sixers and Nets push for the number 1 seed in the East. So we discussed in the past how important it is for the Sixers or the Nets to get this.
I mean, for the Sixers, it's very, very more important than it is to the Nets. I mean, the Sixers don't want to play both the Nets and the Bucks. They just want to play one of them. So, the Sixers got to push through these last 7 games. I don't know the schedule exactly, but I know the teams that they're playing are not good. They have to run. Starting tonight with the Rockets, I think they're 14.5-point favorites. They have to run over these teams.
I was up to 15 last time I checked too.
Yeah, this is the time the Sixers have to really head down and really focus on playing some good basketball. And Doc is out there making excuses. I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, he's been making a lot of excuses with the scheduling and all that. And it's true. It's true, but does he have to come out and say that? I mean, I guess he's trying to make a point. But I mean, the message it's sending his team, the team, I don't know. I think the team buys into it and sometimes will play down to it.
Little breaking news, and I don't hit the butter. Cole Anthony has just been taken to the locker room.
Oh boy, that's your boy.
That is my boy.
He's been playing well. Game winner the other night. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean he's been balling. But going back to Doc Rivers in the comments there for regarding the Sixers is I I would be a little bit more worried about it if this team didn't have more of a veteran presence that it does. I think Danny Green is good for the locker room. Seth Curry is good for the locker room. I even Hill, who they brought over, I think he's really good for the locker room and helps things out. That veteran. I don't think these guys will be affected by that. I mean, and they're playing. Listen, they won 5 in a row after. When Ben comes back and they win 5 in a row. Interesting. Yeah. What a coincidence. And he made the game winner 2 days ago in San Antonio. But and plus, I think Embiid's maturity kind of makes these comments a little bit less damaging. But when the big thing Doc was talking about is it's kind of common sense by the NBA, right? I mean, you're in San Antonio on a Sunday night. You got to fly to Chicago on a Monday night, and then you got to fly back to Houston to play Wednesday. So it is definitely here. And talk about the Sixers schedule, because the Sixers schedule is one of the easier.
You got it up. I know it's really. I know they're playing a lot of bottom feeders.
Bottom feeders might be an understatement. And so here's the Sixers' last 7 games. At Houston, and Jason Tate isn't even playing. And that's let me hit the readers with watchers with some of my bets right now. I'm always betting on Kevin Porter when he's out there. I don't know if you've seen Houston play. Watch them tonight. It's pretty much Kevin Porter tries to do whatever he wants, and he's allowed to do whatever he wants. And he had a 50-piece last week, and so I think his over under as I got in it was only 19.5. So I took Kevin Porter over 19.5. I might have taken Kevin Porter over 19.5 shot attempts. So, let's not forget.
If he's firing it up, I mean,
he's going to be firing. You'll see that tonight. So they go to Houston, then they're home versus New Orleans. New Orleans has to be one of the biggest disappointment teams for all the hype and how great they say Zion is and this, that, and Brandon Ingram's having a great season. Brandon Ingram isn't going to play. I believe they have a game tonight. He's not playing, and he's not playing Friday night either. So they're going to be playing New Orleans without Brandon Ingram.
Yep.
And you go to Detroit, which Detroit is just an embarrassment. Indiana has been struggling as well.
Just gave up. Can we talk about the 154 points in regulation that they gave up the other night
to the Washington Wizards? They didn't give it up to. They didn't give it up to Denver or the Clippers or the Nets. They gave it up to the freaking Washington Wizards. So then after that tough schedule there, the Sixers close out their season. Well, I'm sorry, let's not forget Miami. And Miami is definitely a team that they're right at that 6th seed too. Only half what to say. So they don't want to lose. So we'll see what's going on, how hard they play. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They did lose the other night, but what we're looking at here is we'll see how it is. But if they lose to Miami, you close out the season with a back-to-back Orlando game. Friday, they're home versus Orlando. Sunday, they're home versus Orlando.
Beautiful.
I mean, they're
perfect.
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but if these teams have 120 wins combined, I'd be very shocked.
Yeah, but you agree, right? I mean, this is the time you got to just sharpen up, play good basketball, take care of these teams, and go into the playoffs, playing ball. I think this is an important stretch right here.
Yeah, it is bad. And, what Richie says here is about Embiid's toughness is suspect. And if you're not a Sixers fan and you're not in the area market, you don't see Embiid play every game, I think that's one of the first things that jumps out at you is how much Embiid is flopping on the floor and acting and that kind of stuff. So I can't disagree with him. The always sore comment, I mean,
he's a big dude, man. You got to think about it. Guys that size, I mean.
Plus, if you played any sports, after
sore.
And that's what I say, especially take it over to the NFL, which I didn't talk about friggin' enough the other day, but the NFL, they're talking about people in the injury report and everything like that. Listen, after week 1 or 2, everybody's hurt. Yeah. Everybody's hurt in the NFL. And right now in the NBA, we're talking about we're almost finished the season. Sixers are 44-71. They played 65 games. And specifically Embiid, I don't know, he probably played about 50 out of those 65 if I had to
Somewhere,
just
yeah, somewhere
go
around
from the top of my head. But so when you're looking at it like that, then it's like, maybe they have a good reason to be sore. But and I think Richie, he's not as old as my ass, but he remembers the days when people went out there and they played every game. You didn't have to
there.
worry about a kid going to a game and hadn't seen somebody sit out. So it's
And believe me, those guys were sore. They were sore.
Embiid has played 46 games this year. So
Yeah, all right.
so he said, yeah. So I mean, I didn't. I mean, I'm not a big fan of them sitting out, but we'll see. My man J Rock is in the building. We
Oh
need.
shit!
You know how
Yeah.
freaking Brian
Freestyle Friday. Shout out.
It is on Wednesday. Let's hype it up. If you have not seen J Rock on Freestyle Friday live from the mattress, go check it out. Every Friday, my man J Rock is spinning, and how Atard likes to hit that alarm button. We need to have an alarm button when my man J Rock.
We do.
He comes on the scene. So the only
J-Rock's
problem
is classic freestyle that we used to bump back in the day. Love it.
Yeah, he brings it, and I don't know how Facebook doesn't hit him with the copyright infringement as we got hit with when we played Little Black Rob. Was it the Black Rob or was it the DMX?
Yeah, both. We were paying homage. We opened and closed with
Yeah,
it.
and then I don't know which one we got flagged for in like Cuba or like Iran or something. So it's all good. But yeah, J Rock said the only problem I think the Sixers will run into losing to teams they should beat. I don't think that's true, J Rock. I think that Doc Rivers and the veterans on the team kind of center these guys a little bit more than Brett Brown would have been able to. So I think the Sixers, and it's hard to, if you're looking at the standings and when we see this projected playoff teams, what team would the Sixers, if the Sixers lost to Milwaukee in the playoffs, I'd be disappointed. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they should beat it, but that's a close one. And the Nets, if they lose to the Nets, obviously that's actually a close one too. New York, but everybody else, I think the Sixers should beat. I think that's a fair assumption. I'd love to see them match up against the Celtics because I think they'd destroy them.
Yeah, there's just no Celtics have no answer for Embiid. The size, they have no size.
Well, that's but you seen it. That was the thing. You seen it last year when they were in the playoffs against the Celtics. They matched up against Celtics, and I said, I think the Sixers have a chance to beat them, and the reason is because one, they have the best player on the court the entire time in Embiid, and two, Celtics have no matchup. And I think in basketball terms, if you have if you have the best player on the court, you always have a chance to win.
Yeah,
I think that's
and the previous Celtics Sixers series and games. I mean, Larry Brown just flat out got out coached. I mean, I think this
Brett Brown.
I'm sorry. What did I say? Larry Brown, Brett Brown. He just got out coached, outclassed, and I think it's just a different story this year.
So now what Richie brings up here is a good point because what was the game that Reese? So I text my buddy Tom Haluka, my boy from down in AC. I texted him. I said the Sixers are playing. They had a lead against San Antonio. Phillies are playing. They had a lead against the Mets. I texted him. I said, which Philly team blows the lead first?
They both tried. They tried.
Next thing you know, the Phillies gave up a 3-run bomb, and then the Sixers came roaring back. And this is the thing. You did not see this Monster League and blowing the Monster Leagues in the first half of the season. And that was one of the things that I gave a lot of credit to Doc Rivers. It seemed like they fixed that, right? It seemed like, okay, well, they no longer have that issue because the whole Brett Brown era, they blew the league. And I want to attribute that to them being a young team, no real veterans and no real leadership. And they didn't know how to close out and win. So when that being said, Doc came to the Sixers and that kind of got fixed real quick. But now I'm seeing stretches where they started blowing leads, and I think that's really attributed to the lack of their second unit. Didn't have a true point guard before George Hill. He's still kind of finding his way after only a few games. Yeah. Shake Milton is erratic. Furkan Korkmaz is erratic. Matisse Thybulle is having a great steals and deflection season, but
Defensive, yeah, that's it.
offensively, he does nothing for you offensively, honestly. I mean, he got stuffed on the rim last week, which was just
Yeah,
complete
yeah,
embarrassment. I mean, if you can't dribble, you can't pass, you can't dunk, you can't shoot, but you're a great defender, then you're just going to have to be a specialist. But that's not, that's not going to help you. So what do you think about this the blowing leads? I mean, Richie always wants to put in the bet thing, I mean, listen, we always love betting, me and it. So
yeah, man.
yeah, take the
Listen,
20
I think it's a little. You're right. I mean, we're kind of limited on the bench. We have a lot of guys that are very streaky. I mean, Korkmaz, you'll see one night he'll be dropping 20, comes out of nowhere, then he disappears. I mean, there's just a lot of inconsistency. And Doc, I mean, it's kind of difficult because he's got to mix in. He's got to give Joel his minutes on the bench, but then this is what happens with Simmons. You need him to score when you need to put him out there with these guys, and he needs to score, and he's not. He doesn't do that. He's not a primary scorer, but we
Well,
need
that's
him to be. Yeah,
but
but we need him to
Tobias is
be.
though.
Yeah, but then that's on Doc for him to mix in this lineup because they can't go through stretches. That's why
Yeah.
they're losing these leads because the lineups they have in. He can't find the right mixture to get points from these guys. You know what I mean? And then Dwight Howard, I mean defensively, I mean
You got to give
John-
Dwight Howard some credit for that.
yeah, I'm just saying I think that's where we need Ben to be more assertive is when Joel's out. I mean, it's good. Yeah, we have Tobias, but I mean, we need Ben too. So that's what I'm concerned about. Like,
Well, I think
Doc
Steph
has-
Curry's stepping up a little bit.
yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
Seth's been putting up points. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the other night he was over 20, but I mean, that's where I really think that's where we need Ben in his offensive game when Embiid comes off the court. I mean, it'll make things so much easier if he could score. It really will.
Well, see, but what I'm talking about when we need scores, I mean, my first issue isn't good to go to Ben. I mean, my first instinct is good to Tobias needs to step up and he needs to be the scorer. He's a max player. He's supposed to be the scorer. He's not the facilitator. Ben is out there setting up all these guys, Danny Green and Seth Curry, for these open shots. If you look at his schematic, if you look at the scheme as comparing his, this number of open shots that Sixers have, it's phenomenal when Ben is the distributor. But so that's what I'm saying. My first instinct is like we need somebody to score. It has to be Tobias. It can't get we can't throw this on Ben because you can't ask him to do something. Now I think with George Hill out there in the second unit, he could help. You could run, you could mix it up a little bit with George Hill and Tobias and maybe Dwight Howard and like some of these veteran guys in there that trying to help the second unit a little bit down to close out the games. But I think the other thing too is why the Sixers blow some leads. Is that the thing you have to be aware of in the stretch of these 7 easy games is some of these teams when they're down, they the Sixers are up, right, and then they come back. Some of these teams are putting in guys who are just fighting for a job next year.
Sure. You're
So
right.
they're coming out there and playing it hard while the Sixers are kind of taking it easy, and so I think that's a thing that you have to worry about too. It's kind of like, all right, next thing Amari Brissett from the Rockets is out there trying to put up 40 on you, and because he's only playing hard the last 5 minutes of the game. That's kind of some things. Against the good teams, though, it's going to have to be. And Tobias has been better than a lot of people thought this year, but he's kind of up and down. He's been disappearing a little bit. He hasn't been the consistent second option scorer that we need, because as you see when Seth Curry came back from his time off from COVID, I guess you could say, it took him a while to get in. Danny Green shooting the balls has been really streaky.
I'm just like the Spurs, like for example, the Spurs game, man. Are you okay with? I mean, he made the game-winning bucket, but it was for his 5th point.
But see, that's the thing, and you're missing the point. You're missing the point, bud.
I just struggle so hard.
Okay,
How can this guy have 5 points in a
But
game?
how many points did Tobias average that game? You're supposed to be your second scorer. How many did Tobias have that game?
I got to
You
tell off my
no,
head.
I'll tell you because I know. So he's our second scorer, right?
Correct.
So he had 6 points. We can't complain about Ben having 5 points during one specific game when our second scorer, that's a max player, comes up with 6 points. I don't care if Tobias Harris gets 1 rebound. I don't care if he gets 1 assist. I don't care if he does anything on defense. He has to score. He was paid here to score. And him putting up with 6 points, that's a bigger issue than worrying about Ben having 5 points. Because first of all, 2 of those points were the game-winning shot. 2, you know what I'm saying? And the other part too is in that game too, there's 10 seconds left on the clock, right? Joel Embiid gets the ball, not on the block where he should.
At the 3-point line.
At the 3-point line. And that's because he's hanging out at the 3-point line. He's not going in there fighting for position. My man, Bean Benjamin, listen, while we're on hoops, let me just say this about Bean. Bean is about 5. I'll give him 5'9", but I don't know if he's 5'9", but he's had some bunnies. I mean, he was banging on people. Back in the day, Bean Benjamin was banging on people in the parks. So,
Bean.
Shout out to Bean. I appreciate you.
Thanks for watching.
But, as far as that, so that's the thing. Like, you didn't get him in the box. So they're the kind of things that kind of scratch my head. Like, because we know Joel's basketball IQ isn't there. It's just not there. He's relatively young and playing and stuff like that. And I don't think he's had great coaching throughout his career. With Brett Brown. So he needs to continue to develop that. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming Tobias because if you look at Tobias' stat line in the last few games, right? He's been shooting the 3-point set. Okay. Did not make a 3-pointer versus San Antonio. Did not make a 3-pointer versus Chicago. Okay. Before that against OKC, it was an easy win. So like that, these are the games you can't really worry about. Like his 11 points when they blow out OKC by 30. I'm not worried about that. It's when it's a close game, you have to say. And he came back and he had 9 rebounds and 21 points against Chicago, but it wasn't like one of those, it's kind of like, oh, he started coming back. So that was a good game. So if he's our consistent second scorer, the Sixers are definitely going to be in a better position to win because he has to be that man. He has to be that man. He has to come out there, not ISO playing the offense. Because in the beginning of the year, Tobias Harris really did a good job changing his game a little bit, right? Last year he was extremely frustrating because we're playing ball and he gets the ball, and next thing you know, it's everybody watching Tobias dribble. Yeah. So come on, Richie. You know what, Richie brought some really good comments to tonight. I appreciate you watching, but this is just
well. Let's talk about this. If these playoffs are a disaster for the Sixers, do you see? And Ben Simmons does not play well. Do you see them consider trading him in the offseason?
Well, when you have Daryl Morey at the trigger, I think he considers trading his own kids. If they don't get a high enough grade on their test that week, you know what I'm saying? He's always looking to wheel and deal. I
don't want to see it, but I mean,
but here's the thing: why are we looking at it being Ben's fault though? Like, why is it Ben's fault? He's elite in every category except shooting the basketball. Elite. There's not too many players that you could say are better than him at certain aspects of the game. And definitely not defense, but shooting the basketball. So, I mean, I don't know why we're hung up on in this day and age of everybody has to shoot. Maybe it's because people just like the Sports Center chucking up 3 highlights. But, I don't see it. So, I mean, if we're watching the playoffs and if it's Ben's fault that the Sixers lose the playoffs to, especially in like an upset, then absolutely you have to reevaluate the whole team. But, he dominates the Celtics. You're going to need him against the Nets if you play the Nets. He bangs with Giannis very well. I mean, so I don't think it's like going into seeing those 2 series as a potential matchup to get to the finals. I don't see it being Ben's fault. I just don't. Now Richie asks, I mean, so Richie asked this. He's like, who would you give up? Simmons for someone like Levine? No. Well, first of all, Levine's a free agent at the end of the year, so that's not really a possibility. But Ant, so I bring it to you. Who? So you bring up you kind of like this idea of trading Simmons. Who would you trade him for? Like, what's a realistic fit in your mind?
It's a good question. I mean, it depends on what. See, I just feel we just need points out of
So see
that
now I feel like I'm talking about.
position.
Now I feel like you want to be the Washington Wizards. They scored a lot of points.
I mean, someone like Bradley Beal, you don't think would be good on this team?
He would be good on his team, but you're giving up. You're sacrificing so much defense and everything else. Having Bradley Beal and Tobias Harris on the same team would be a little bit difficult because they're both shooters. They don't do a ton of other things, and they're not very good defenders. I mean, looking at fit, if you get now hold a timeout now. If you want to talk about, you give me Ben Simmons and you put Bradley Beal in Seth Curry's role and Danny Green's role, then sign me up. But you take away Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal, you're going to have a huge holes in everything else. No, you're giving up too much. It's not about pure scoring. Think about how much better Embiid would have been much better because I mean, if you're looking at Embiid's, Simmons isn't holding Embiid back. Embiid has had the MVP season, and he would be the MVP if he didn't sit out so many games. So Embiid's going to get better when he learns how to pass out of a double team properly, when he learns how to read his own defense, and when he just overall gets more growth as a player. That's Embiid. Simmons isn't holding him back. I mean, think about it. You got a center who has a point guard who doesn't want to do anything but give him the ball. So I mean, and Zach LaVine is fun to watch, but if he was so good and Beal was so good, Washington and Chicago would be a lot better. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And the media, I hate to tell you this, but right now you're sounding a lot like Brian Attard when he talks to me about the Cowboys. Right? I'm not to be listen because he would be like, oh, we got to get rid of Dak Prescott. We shouldn't sign Dak Prescott, all this other stuff. I'm like, okay. Who would you replace him with, and is it realistic? Right?
Huh?
So if we don't have an answer to that, and there's not a better solution out there, and Bradley Beal's not a better solution, and Zach LaVine's not a better solution, who? And we don't have that. There was a big pressure to get James Harden this year before the season, and I guess there was an issue between Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Houston Rockets, and Daryl Morey. They really just didn't want to do business together, and that's pretty much why that trade didn't happen. So when you look at it like that, then it's like, okay, well, who's out there? What's realistic? You trade him out to Portland for Dame Dollar? Maybe. But Dame also plays a lot of hero ball too. So, I mean, it's a very difficult situation. And listen, I don't know why we would want to crucify Ben even before it starts, because last time I checked is the Sixers have won every game he's been back. When he wasn't on the court, they've lost. So I wouldn't be throwing. I just don't think he's the right one to point the finger at just because he doesn't shoot, because he does everything else good. Right. But we want to get into some other things. We talked about that. We talked about let's get into we talked about him a little bit. Did I put it out there? No, I don't think I created it. Our boy Westbrook, as we talking about, and those Wizards, and Curry. I mean, Westbrook and the Wizards have been going crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, he just put up some monster stats. It's unbelievable. I can't remember the quote I saw, but someone prominent quoted him as the second best point guard ever, behind Magic. Obviously, behind Magic. So,
well, I mean, obviously that's just idiotic. It just is. Literally just is.
If he had more winning on his resume, it would not be. but in the NBA, that's how they're judged. So it would be hard to put him second.
Well, he's not second. I mean, his
Yeah, I
triple
agree.
double his
Yes.
triple double season in Oklahoma is a sham. It's a fraud, right? It's a complete fraud. You had Steven Adams and these guys getting away from a rebound so he could come and grab it.
Uh,
Right? So I think when you're looking at that kind of stuff, I mean, I can't give that much credit, But the credit that I'm giving them now is because the Wiz are winning, right?
yeah,
And you're
they're
talking
winning.
about trading Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal. First of all, Bradley Beal, I mean, Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook wouldn't work together well on the court. Um, but given the Wizards and how well they've played, I mean, you have to give them credit. I'm not a Westbrook fan at all. I enjoy his intensity and how hard he plays, and he's talking a lot of shit on Embiid still,
Yeah,
but like I said, I'm not a big he plays very ineffective. He doesn't play winning basketball for most of his career. I mean, it's just what kind of what you see what you get.
yeah.
But I mean, they're what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're 10-2 in their 10-2 in their last 12, I believe that
Mhm.
is.
Yep.
13-3. No, 12-3 in their last 15. I mean, we could go on and on. So they're on an amazing streak here. And
Get on that Wizards train.
well, here's the thing. I think it's completely idiotic that they're winning like this. Completely idiotic.
It's just two guys lighting it up every night, up and down the court. They just no defense. They're just up and down the court all night, filling it up.
154. And this is how the Wizards were a lot last
Yeah,
year too.
yeah. Tonight, who they got? Oh, they got the Bucks tonight.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they're for real. For real tonight. I took the Bucks -3.5. I took the
See,
Suns -1.
I kind of
And
like I kind of like the Wizards tonight with the Bucks coming off the back to back with the Nets. I don't think someone's not playing for the Bucks. I can't. I know someone's not playing. I can't remember. Oh, Chris Middleton is not playing.
yeah, and he carried them last night. If you've seen that
Yeah,
game, I mean the Bucks
yeah,
versus Nets, and really the Bucks took care of the Nets too. Richie
yeah.
talking about Denny is okay, Rue is okay. Rue is out tonight. He's not playing tonight. So uh, you know, Bucks are not a sucker bet after last night. Letdown game, true, but I just think there's some talent there. It's regular season basketball in the NBA, so every bet really. If you bet regular season basketball games, it's a sucker bet. So
It's
I
just a
don't care,
crack.
and if you actually look into it, teams on the back to back in this season are just absolutely killing it this year.
Yeah,
It's almost at 70% on back to back nights, which in years past has always been you don't bet on a team after back to back nights. On a back to back, you always bet the other team, but and that's just how it is. So it's a little weirder season, but yeah, that's just what it goes on. So we'll see how that is. So we got about 10 minutes left here. Let's talk about some of our bets. I mean, Richie's actually
Richie's chiming in with some bets. I like
taking
it. I
bets. Let's
like
go.
it.
Richie likes Pacers -6.5 tonight. Who do you got on your slate?
All right, so I got a prop bet in
It's easy
on.
for you to say, bro.
So I got a couple long shot parlays in. Yeah, points props. So I got Gallinari scoring plus 20 plus tonight at plus 470. And then I got Isaac Okoro to score 20 plus for
Let's
Cleveland
go. I'm on him too, buddy.
plus 1040.
Hold on, Isaac Okoro doing what?
I got him scoring 20 plus at plus 1040.
Oh, that's adjusted odds. Oh, I love that. I'm on
Yeah.
DraftKings. I don't do the adjusted odds.
Yeah.
Just so I guess that's a FanDuel bet, I'm guessing.
Yes, correct. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so
And I'm also loving the over in that Pacers game tonight at 239. They're playing the Kings. I mean, they're giving up points like crazy, the Pacers. I mean, I think that goes over too. 240.
How do I have $60 in my account right now?
And the two dogs tonight, maybe the Knicks plus 138 playing the Nuggets. Nuggets not playing too well right. I mean, they scored 89
Oh,
points.
hold on. Stop the presses. I just hit Seti Osman to make the first basket at plus 1100. Bang.
Shut
All
up.
right. Absolutely, brother.
Great
I just
bet.
put on my account. I'm like, how do I have that? How do I got a quick 60 on my account real now? An
Nice
extra
bet.
60 in the account. So yeah, so I hit that because DraftKings had a promotion where you take what did I buy? Yeah, shit, I only put 5 on it, but I think it was maxed at 20 or something like that. So if whatever you bet on the first bucket, if they scored the second or third bucket, they give you your money back.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, nice play. Good start to the night right there.
Absolutely. I love seeing that. So let me break you down with what I got here real quick and everybody else. So NBA bets, I got Kevin Porter Jr. over 20.5, and I have
Okay.
Isaac Okoro over 11.5.
Okay.
And I got that at 3 I got them parlayed at plus 398 for each, and I got them both straight, of course. If you don't, if people are watching now, and I don't know how many we still got with us, but if people are watching, you only do parlays if you do them as straight as well. The parlay, like Anthony says, that's just a little sprinkle. That's just how we sprinkle things up a little bit. But if you really want to win money, you do not bet parlays. NBA bets, especially.
Yo, so I'm looking at FanDuel tonight, and it's Steph Curry, 20 plus points. It's plus 1040. I think that's possible. He's been playing well.
You say it's not Seth Curry, you said, right?
Yeah, Seth for the Sixers tonight.
Over 20.
Over 20. Plus 1040 odds tonight.
That's not too that's definitely something that could do, especially playing Houston and that kind of stuff. We'll be looking at that. And that can get to start 5 minutes.
He just dropped 20 the other night.
So let's see. So I have Ben's. Here's another 3-team parlay I picked plus single. Ben over 11.5. I think Kevin Porter and Houston play no D. I think Ben gets some easy dunks. If it's not too late, this is a game. This is a Ben first basket game too. I think Phoenix comes to Atlanta and tries to set the tone tonight a little bit. I got my man Devin Booker over 26.5.
Okay.
And a lot of points in that game. Buddy Hield's been shooting the lights out of the ball. Buddy Hield over 19.5.
Okay. I feel good. I think I got this Gallinari and this guy's bet. If this hits, it's gonna be great.
All right. Here's my favorite bet of the night. You ready for this, Ant?
Go ahead.
Plus 31,000.
I love it. Let's go.
$5 to win 1,600. We're going to go with Ben to get a triple double at plus 1,500. Joker to get a triple double at plus 300. And the Greek Freak to get a triple double against the Wizard at plus 400. And I bet them all straight as well.
Ooh, I like that.
So I'm looking at Ben versus the Rockets, who play no D. I'm looking at the Joker and the Knicks, who might be in a close game. And Joker hasn't had a triple double in a while, so he's due. And Giannis against the Wizard, and they play no D at all either. So
Ben is 20 plus 2,500 on FanDuel.
For a triple double?
Yeah.
I got plus 1,500 here.
Really?
That's good value.
Yeah, I mean that's insane value.
And my last prop I have for tonight, and you might be able to get this in, and I think this is to be the top scorer of the game. DeJounte Murray at plus 600.
The Spurs Jazz. Correct. Yes.
Mitchell isn't playing. Like, I think that the favorite in that game to be the top scorer is DeMar DeRozan at plus 125. I think DeJounte Murray has just as much value getting there. At plus 600 than DeRozan has.
Yeah, I like that.
So already a good night in betting land. I'm glad to be back talking basketball. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Really good night. Really good night. I hope to hit some of these little parlays, some of these little bets.
Absolutely.
Expect the Sixers victory. I don't know if they're going to cover, but I would.
I'm not touching them a cover
Yeah, I
just
wouldn't lay
because
anything on it.
just because what Richie Nelm said earlier about them.
Exactly. Yep.
Damn, Richie's just Richie a hating motherfucker with the Ben on Ben. It's plus 1,500 and you ain't getting plus 200. You're playing against the Houston Rockets with no D. I'm fine with that,
I'm not Richie, I'm not laying the mortgage on it, man. A little sprinkle, big odds.
Yeah, just start listen. It's plus 1,500. You put about $200 on it, and we're good. Let's roll. If it hits, it hits. If not, fuck it. I got my C. I lose a C bet. It ain't the first time I lost a C bet.
Listen, TQ, Doge just keeps going up. I keep making money, dog. So once the dog keeps going,
it's all. Listen, let's take a little bit. Let's talk a little bit of that. I mean, I got out of Doge 90% of it, and I'm still free rolling.
I'm making money while I'm driving around, just chilling all day right now.
Absolutely, and then listen, our capital just double dipped hugely over 500,000 shares with on DraftKings, so that's been going good.
Yeah, man.
Richie Nelms likes XRP, aka Ripple, which is something I was in a long time ago. My boy McGee got hit in a lot of it, and it kind of went up. Ripple was getting sued by the SEC and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
cleared
through.
But yeah, like this said, I got out of Doge 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I got out, and I still got some in. So I've quadrupled my investment or whatever the hell it was. I was in, and here's the thing: you're not in that group chat, but there's a dynasty league, right? That we're in. It's a Tard, it's Drew, it's some guys from the Sports Box.
Yeah.
It's a couple other clowns, and they were busting this kid Nick's balls about being poor and you go to Goodwill to resell clothes and that kind of stuff because the dude said he does that and sells it on eBay. So I'm like, and our financial advisor, Mr. Tard, our resident financial advisor, who always loves to give things like, oh, buy Apple stock. Like, that's not exciting.
It's like $1,000.
So I told them in I think it was January or February to buy Dogecoin. It was at like 0.000003 or some. I have it on my phone. I could say I'll have to send it to you. I was like, buy Doge. You want to shut the turn up? Buy this. Of course, the kid didn't listen, but you know what? I listened. You know what I'm saying?
4 cents here. 4 cents.
4 cents. That's when you bought in?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I bought in way lower than 4 cents.
Good for you.
I'll
take it. 4 cents is low enough for me.
Listen, like right now, I'm just trying to pick out what color I want the interior of my yacht. I mean, it's summertime. You're gonna see me pulling up a Sweetwater like skirt.
skirt.
I'm gonna try to be the. I'm listen. That's what Big Baller Bally Paulie is doing right now.
Yeah.
You can't. Every time I see him, he's on some boat with boat. He on boats with no hose. You know what I'm saying? But he's got the boat, but.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to try to help him fill it up. But anyway, any last words for the people tonight? Appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah, man. Thanks for everyone. Thanks for watching. Richie, thanks for chiming in, man. It was a good show. I'm glad to be back. Getting ready for this playoff push. I'm ready, man. Let's go.
Absolutely. Next week's going to be interesting because we'll see where people's teams sit a little bit more and see who's going to be in the play games and who's not going to be in the playing games and see. Hopefully we could find Paulie back. I mean, if he doesn't overdose on burritos and salsa and better tell that motherfucker guac is extra. And hopefully KD recovers from the COVID, so we'll get him back next week. And I don't even think we really even shared this out too often or anything like that. So, but, all right, and be safe. Appreciate everybody tuning in. My man J Rock, Richie made an appearance, Drew, Kev, all these guys. So All right, gentlemen. On that note, we are going to be out of here as soon as I can find a little music button. So, all right. Have a good one, guys.
My man, see you guys.
Thank you for watching this episode of Baseline Jumper on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.